there's the piece regarding the student athletes and their compensation, which, you know, I certainly respect Senator Slapp and his comments, but I don't know that most of my constituents consider UConn beginning their recruiting season to be something that they would classify as an emergency for state government. And again, this is a bill that is already going through the legitimate legislative process. I believe it's had a hearing, and it's in the committee process right now. That should simply play out. Before we start calling things emergencies so that they can go around the legitimate process and be used to make a political statement, I think we should reconsider. I think we should think twice about how our legislative body is being used. I'm tempted to get into a lot of conversation about process, but we're here to discuss the merits of the policy before us. But I think that bringing up the fact that these are not actually emergency items is a key ingredient in this debate, and that's why I wanted to start with that. I'm going to get up a few times today to offer several amendments, but I'm going to start today just by making a couple of statements and then speaking about the first section of the bill having to do with the State Department of Education guidance with regard to federal immigration authorities. This bill, to me, is symbolic of the majority party shaking their fist at the President of the United States. But I don't see how that benefits my constituents. And I also don't see how that benefits anyone in the room's constituents. The fact of the matter is the federal government has a lot to say with how the federal government is run, and that includes the funding of states and the various entities within those states. It seems to me that if you want to protect your constituents and the organizations that you hold dear, you might want to start negotiating in good faith and on good terms with the federal government and not shaking your fist in the air in defiance. This policy that is before us today, at least the first and third sections of the bill, prioritize partisan ideology over the real issues that are affecting people in Connecticut. The people in Connecticut would definitely say there are emergencies. Their electric bill is an emergency. The cost of everything in this state is an emergency. The rising crime wave in this state is an emergency. Those things are what we should be discussing when we have an emergency certified bill in the legislature. And yet, there are precious few bills even going through the legitimate process on those subjects. People are struggling, and here we're going to talk about these four random and, in the cases of sections 1 and 3, clearly political issues. So let's get to it. Let's talk about the first portion. Senator Winfield brought out the first portion of the bill, sections 1 through 4, and I think he is in more or less agreement with me. I'll let him respond about whether or not this is codifying the direction that we're getting from the State Department of Education. I do want to take exception to something he said, though, which is that, quote unquote, schools are no longer safe spaces as they were. So through you, Madam President, I'd just like to ask the good chairman of the Judiciary Committee what he means by that, through you.
Thank you.